I did not pick my nose on camera. Hey, I'm Superfizz. This is my third chat with Jason I just scratched my nose with Jason regarding an intro to Ethereum. Like, he's brand new, and we're just like having some daily chats about getting into it. So I had some ideas for what we might talk about today, and I think you have some questions, right?
I do. Correct.
And people should know we don't plan it at all. Like, we have maybe like 3 DMs that are like, hey, are we doing this, at 10 o'clock or whatever? But we're not. I decided. I mean, I didn't even ask you, but I just like, we're going to record from the moment we start to the moment we stop and not like have a setup.
This is very organic. Yeah. It's not a lot of smoke and mirrors going on.
Okay. Where do we want to start?
Well, yesterday I posed the question to you, or you know what? A couple of days ago, you asked me if I had a Twitter, and I have an account that I really honestly don't use. I never really had the opportunity to sink my talons into the Twitterverse or anything. But given the subject of Ethereum or cryptocurrency in general, it seems to be that might be a worthy avenue to look into. Why? If you could tell me why, how, what avenues are recommended, what sort of content to expect.
Yes. So one of the most important parts about getting started here is finding your spot, like your niche. Because I know for a lot of people, they spend months kind of dancing around, like they're buying things and they're trying things, but they don't really have a niche. So yeah, I can spend a few minutes talking about the niches. And we mentioned Twitter. There are 3 basic platforms. Well, actually, they're Telegram. So really the platforms we're looking at, they are Twitter, Discord, Reddit, and Telegram. But most of my Telegram is DM. Is direct messages. I don't do a lot of like public Telegram rooms. So I'm probably going to skip Telegram. But Twitter is like high information, low social engagement. So you can learn a lot, but you're not going to make a lot of friends. Reddit is like medium social engagement, medium information, which is good. Like, for some people, that's a perfect balance. And then Discord is really high social engagement. Like, you can make friends for life there. But because there's so much chatter, it tends to be lower information. And
okay.
So,
good comparison.
Yeah. So I'm going to share my screen for 1 minute, see if this works. Sure. Screen to, I really want this one. That's a tab. All right. I'm going to take a risk and share my whole screen. So can you see you're browsing as a guest now?
Yep.
Okay. So if we start with Twitter, we're not actually starting with Twitter. There's a site called Ultrasound Money. And when you go to Ultrasound Money, you'll see the bat spreading its wings at the top.
Okay.
None of this is, well, this is all important, but none of this matters right now. Really, what I would ask people to do is scroll down, and there's kind of a curated list of Twitter people that you can follow. And this is not an exhaustive list. There are a lot of people who are not on this list. This is an opt-in list. The people on this list have added something special. They've added this ultrasound bat to their Twitter profile, and that's how they show up here. But it's a really great way to get started with knowing who to follow. So this guy is Anthony Sassano. We call him Sassel. He is a great follow on Twitter. This guy is David Hoffman. He does Bankless. And this is Ryan Sean Adams. These 3 guys are like the media for Ethereum. Anthony Sassel does, Sassano does the Daily Gwei, and these guys do Bankless. Then you have Justin Drake. He's an Ethereum researcher. DeFi Dad also has a great podcast that he puts out.
How do you
And
spell
you have,
Gwei?
sorry,
How do you spell Gwei? Guay? Guai?
GWEI. It is the lowest it's the smallest unit of measure of Ethereum gas. Where did you see that?
You mentioned it.
Oh, Daily Gwei. Yeah,
public.
I'm sorry. So because I do it all day, like
I'm trying to take notes. Sorry.
yeah. This guy. So you can follow him, I guess, at Sassel. No, it's at SasselOX.
Gotcha.
But I think you already. So I'm like somewhere I'm there on that list. One thing you can do is look at people and see who they're following. There are a lot of you'll just kind of see the web of follows. One of the difficulties with Twitter is there is a lot of what we call maxi warfare. And I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about maxi warfare, but it's essentially juvenile foolishness. And I mean that in the most sincere way possible. It is platforms attacking each other and saying ours is better, yours is stupid. It is so insanely childish.
Okay.
So I actually spent a ton of time just blocking people who reply with just wild, like unrelated stuff, who want to just
It's
complain
just sort of
that
tribal and cliquish and really not
wow.
rooted.
Yes. And so one of my roles as Superfizz, like one of the things that I'm always promoting is like, let's not be tribal. Let's all work in our own direction and not waste all of our energy attacking each other. Like it just doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
There are like academic oh, what? E-staker. I didn't realize we were that high. That's pretty awesome. There are legitimate critiques between platforms. Like there are legitimate ways that other platforms might critique Ethereum, and they're valid. But I think that that is not really useful is like these people on Twitter who either program bots or spend all of their time just insulting people. And so they just get blocked. It's no big deal, but it is annoying. So yeah, ultrasound money, scroll down. This list is a great start. Anyone here is probably regarded as a healthy member of the Ethereum community. Like you can learn from them. So that is a start into Twitter. And I want to do two more places and then we'll switch gears. So Reddit is the second place. And obviously Reddit is huge. There are thousands of Reddits. You can pick any community, anywhere you fit in, but there's one that I want to draw real attention to. It is reddit.com/r/ethfinance. And every day in ETHfinance, there is something we call the daily. And if you find that daily, today's is January 16th, and you go there. So it resets every night at midnight. And so right now there are 144 comments, and the top of every day is this thing called the Daily Dudes. They're the best comments from yesterday. So David Hoffman talks about criticisms of Bankless. Remember, he was one of the guys from Twitter. He also runs the Bankless podcast. Logri talks about Curve. Needler talks about Bitcoin and Ethereum issuance. One of the things I want to point out as we're going through this, you heard me say I'm not interested in markets, but here we are in an ETHfinance sub.
Yeah, I was quietly thinking that.
Yeah, and 90% of what people talk about in here is number go up, number go down.
Yeah, looking at the titles to these articles.
It gets really boring. It gets boring for all of us. What really brings value to these places are substance that is beyond number go up and number go down. Because until Ethereum is really successful in 5 or 8 or 10 years, number go up, number down is just boring AF. So really the people who bring value, even in finance related places, are people who are talking about what's being built. They're educating people about how Ethereum is working. They are encouraging people to participate in healthy ways. That's the growth.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I as far as Reddit, like I spend I would say most 90% of my Reddit time in eFinance. I have an organization called ETH Staker, and we have a Reddit that's pretty popular, but we're not ready for any of that, and yeah, it doesn't matter right now.
Okay.
But yeah, ETH Staker is my thing, and we'll eventually talk about it. So we've got Reddit, we've got Twitter with a gateway through ultrasound, and Discord is the other one I wanted to talk about. And so my friends will I'm a little obsessive over this platform rocket pool. We're not going to talk about what the platform is, but it's a gateway to a community. So if you go to rocketpool.net and you scroll down to Discord, there you can see join our Discord. I can't click that now because it will open my Discord and like all of my privacy will just dump.
Gotcha.
The reason I'm pointing this out is it's an example of an extremely healthy community on Discord.
Okay.
If you open up this Discord, they have a place called, this is finance again, trading, where it initially existed to talk about trading, but now it just talks about essentially decentralizing Ethereum, which is very healthy to all of us. Yeah, don't take that to heart. There's a lot of trolling. I do a lot of trolling, a lot of foolishness, a lot of goofiness, but remember in Discord, it's a high noise, low signal environment. So when you get past all of the noise, you find the signal that is building better decentralization and building a better Ethereum platform.
Okay.
And in that Rocket Pool Discord, I live in the trading channel, and it is generally the most popular.
Okay.
So that is Twitter, Reddit, and Discord, and then a couple YouTube channels I want to point out. I mentioned Daily Gwei. This is a daily program. Anthony Sassano, he doesn't take ads or doesn't take advertisers. He is an investor, so he talks about things that he is invested in, but he is probably like the highest signal of any like information you're going to be able to get from a podcast. Okay. And then the other one is Bankless. That is David Hoffman and Ryan Sean Adams. Now, where Daily Gwei is high signal, no advertisers, Bankless is more of a commercial kind of thing. It like they take advertisers, they have a lot more polish, but their information quality is also very high. So this starting with Bankless video is absolutely incredible. I would suggest spending 8 minutes just kind of checking it out.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that was a quick. I know there are other things like, and I don't know. I can show you where we are. We're on ETH Staker.
Okay.
And you can see there our last 2 videos.
Gotcha.
I think if we do this a while, I'll add us to playlists. So I need to probably rename that. But we haven't really gotten into staking, and I'm not in a rush to get into it, but it is something that I spend a lot of time with, and we can talk about eventually.
Okay.
So yeah, that was my my dump. So reflections, questions, what do you got?
Well, tabling staking is noted. I did have some curiosity about.
No, ask.
We can.
No, so I can talk about it for days and hours, but I'm also happy to give a 5-second, 30-second response to basic questions. That's like, I don't want to do a deep dive, but I'm happy to talk about what it is.
Well, I mean, yesterday we talked about involvement, ways to get involved, ways to connect with the community. I'm assuming that is a component, a piece of the puzzle. And just I was curious as to how staking differs than simply investing or buying coin, and if there was like an elevator rundown on that, I'd be interested
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
hearing
So
blue collar explanation of that.
that's awesome. Yeah, I can do this pretty quickly, I think. Um, in the beginning, Ethereum coins were generated by mining. So people use GPUs, they ran them, generate a lot of heat, burn a lot of electricity, create some ether, right? And so then I have ether. And as ether became scarce, you could send some to an exchange and sell it. So like, I'm a miner, I have ether, I need money, so I send it to Coinbase and sell it for, you know, whatever dollars. And so um, if you're somebody who doesn't have the technical experience or doesn't want to do mining, then you could get involved by buying it from an exchange instead of mining.
Okay.
In September, 3 or 4 months ago, 123 days ago, I guess, Ethereum made a huge transition from mining to staking. And this means that we turned off all of the miners, stopped using all of that electricity, and said from now on, the network will be secured by people who stake. These are people who hold 32 Ether, who run a computer at home, and who get a reward every 6.4 minutes for securing the network.
Okay. You mentioned that couple of interviews ago.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's still how new Ether is created. And so
through the interest that's generated with these holdings.
yeah, and I generally call it emissions because it's not like a bank where there's interest. They are emissions. They are payments from the network for securing the network.
Okay.
So you can participate in staking. Most people right now don't have 32 Ether. I want to say that's like maybe $30,000 or something.
Yeah.
So that's when we get into fractional staking, and that's, you saw where I mentioned Rocket Pool. You can buy Rocket Pool RETH tokens, and I'm making this quick, so I'm not going to show you anything. You can buy RETH tokens, and essentially someone else will do the work of staking. They'll take a little cut of it, and those RETH tokens will accumulate rewards. So by holding a token, you get staking rewards, and you're securing the network without having to run hardware. And that's how someone like, you know, if you wanted to stake, you would do it by buying the RETH token and just kind of holding it.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Well, that clarifies things. That's cool. And you know what? I was a little bit concerned because a lot of the stuff you hear on the news is about the energy consumption and how mining, the detrimental environmental results of like the big crypto phenomenon a few years ago. So I had no idea that staking was a more environmentally conscious alternative. And that's really good news.
Yeah. We cut the energy use of Ethereum by 99.98%.
Now that is something that should get out there then.
Yeah, and you know, as proud of as we are of it, it's difficult for, you know, people outside to pick up those things. It's just not easy to get out there. That's where education comes in.
Now, this is an Ethereum exclusive practice, though. There are still a lot of other cryptocurrencies that are mining and consuming energy to run those servers still at a high rate.
Yeah. It's not fair to call it Ethereum only. There are other projects who are also developing staking products. Staking is kind of like mining 2.0.
Yeah.
What the 800-pound gorilla in the room is still Bitcoin, who Bitcoin says, according to their ethos, like we did it right the first time and we don't need to change anything. And so while the world is evolving around that and saying, hey, mining was great, but we need to do better, Bitcoin is still the outlier, and they run a proof of work chain. And I don't know if internally they're having discussions about maybe improving that, but publicly they will say, we call it mental gymnastics. They will say a lot of things to to justify what they're doing as a good thing, and they'll even attempt to justify it as good for the environment. And yeah, it is what it is.
Okay. That's really cool. Okay, staying sort of on the subject of community. So a couple of years ago, right before the big dip in the market, there was a policy instituted, I think by China, that restricted the use of cryptocurrency. Well, I don't know if it was Bitcoin specifically or if it was all cryptocurrencies. I don't know if that affected. It must have affected market behavior. But what I'm asking, I guess, is allies that exist on a business level, on a state government level, on a national level. Who are they? What do they pay attention to? Can you elaborate? I'm assuming this is an evolving issue, that attitudes are sort of constantly changing. So I was wondering if you could elaborate on that.
Yeah, that's great. My current interpretation is that China has disallowed all ASIC and probably GPU mining, at least based on what I've seen like in videos. Now, I don't get deeply into politics, but I do know, I want to say it was like 2017, 2018. China had this practice of banning and unbanning and banning and unbanning. And it really appears to people from my perspective that it was a market manipulation technique, that the Chinese government was purposefully manipulating the price of cryptocurrency, likely in order to build a position. I don't know how true that is, but it definitely fit the narrative that they would ban it and the price would fall. And then a week later, they would unban it and the price would go up. And then a week later, they would ban it again and the price would go down. I think now they have, and again, I don't do politics. I think that they have a standard position of not allowing energy consumption associated with cryptocurrency, which obviously Ethereum as proof of stake fits into that perfectly. The other half of that is like government and corporate partnerships. It's funny that you bring that up. It is something that smaller projects tend to build on partnerships. So if you a way for a small project to get legitimacy is to say, we have partnered with Coca-Cola, we have partnered with the government of some small country, and they use that as a stacking technique to stack legitimacy. The more of these partnerships they can create, the more legitimacy it offers them.
Sure.
Ethereum is far more protocol driven. We're not trying actively to build partnerships to become successful. We're trying to build a protocol that makes us successful. So it's not the intention of Ethereum to partnership our way to success. It is our intention to build a solid product that is the obvious path to success.
So there's no equivalent to a Ethereum State Department that is sending emissaries to governments and business.
There is something called the Ethereum Foundation, and I get a grant from the Ethereum Foundation to kind of sort of do this ethos communication, like to actually my grant is through ETHStaker. It is through training people on staking, but it's kind of a quirky organization. They don't exist to pander. They exist to develop what we're doing, not to beg people to participate with us.
Right. To inform rather than recruit.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, like they give a lot of grants, and I have no doubt that there are people who are like well, so there's a place called Coin Center who does political lobbying, and while I don't, I assume they would be they would get grant money. They lobby, governments to make favorable decisions or decisions that favor cryptocurrency. But I don't think of Ethereum as a pandering organization. We are a product based organization. We're building an Ethereum smart contract platform.
Okay. What about India? You know anything about that general attitude or that general policy?
I do not. You know, again, geopolitically, I'm not well versed. I know some things about like Africa. Africa is there. There are several countries who are eager to onboard cryptocurrency because they're unbanked. Somewhere, what you're looking for is this idea of poor access to banking, high population density, high technology use. Those are and they don't already have it solved some other way, because there are other like shoehorn solutions that some countries have.
That sounds like you would be describing India, so that would strike me as a place then that would be friendly towards that policy. But yeah, that's something I can definitely look into on my own. Maybe they already have a well-established banking network, at least more so than some of those African countries that you were talking about. Let's see. What about particular states in the U.S. that show a little bit more openness to developing, incorporating crypto or Ethereum specifically into like commerce and whatnot?
Yeah, three states come to mind off the top of my head, and I know that other people will know 1,000 times more than this. New York is generally considered anti-crypto. They had something called a bit license where you had to register with the state to transact in cryptocurrency. It's really seen as an unwelcoming state government toward crypto. At the same time, there's also a hotbed of cryptocurrency development in New York, just because it is New York. On the flip side, 10 minutes. On the flip side, Colorado is aggressively embracing Ethereum specifically. It's where we hold East Denver, one of our annual conferences. The government really like works to incorporate ideas associated with smart contract platforms into the things that they're doing. So I would say Colorado is likely the most friendly. And then Wyoming is kind of the third. Because of their, I guess they have some kind of hidden LLC. It tends to be a place where people like to do business because you can register a DAO without naming a person who is the DAO, because a DAO is not a person, it is an organization. And while I don't understand, the specifics of it, I know that is like the place that people tend to register them. An honorable mention to Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is like it's like the Bitcoin, the crypto utopia. They have a community there where a lot of crypto people have just sort of migrated.
So what I'm sort of hearing is purple state. I'm hearing a purple state, and then I'm hearing sort of like underdeveloped or places where there's room to develop further and infrastructure, and maybe places that New York perhaps maybe risk averse due to tradition or firmly established infrastructure that already exists.
Yeah, that sounds like a good assessment.
Okay. Very, very interesting. Well, I mean, I had a couple more questions, but I can table them for another time.
Let's do one more. We got a minute.
Okay, let's see here. Uh, I'm afraid this is a long response, but all right. So we've established that the day trader charts are not of particular significance to you and probably maybe the community, broadly speaking. But what data is of interest? What charts do
Yeah,
you like to look at, and what is the behavior in those charts that you like to see or you don't like to see?
yeah, that's great. So yeah, obviously I don't have a deep knowledge or interest in charts. I can tell you that the Bitcoin world has what they regard as a 4-year boom bust cycle, and that's related to their every 4-year halvenings, and so
Okay.
that's something that gets batted around a lot.
I just saw a
Uh,
video on that while I was trying to vote up before this one.
cool. I would say the reason the markets are dangerous is they are all manipulated. They are all uh, a whale is someone who has a lot of liquidity, a lot of money, and um, whales play in those pools. They splash around and they break people, and they're having games. Like they are literally, the markets are small enough and manipulable enough. If you think of China as a whale, like when
Right.
they're banning and unbanning, they're
Yeah.
doing that to manipulate the price to make profit. And that's an assumption. I don't know it for sure, but you can think of a
Everybody
very
talks
wealthy
about
person doing the same thing.
everybody talks about Elon Musk's. I don't know. Did he say it on Saturday Night Live or did he say it on Twitter?
Doge. Yeah.
But yeah, whatever he shit on that got
Yeah.
that plummeted the market.
And retail eats that up. I often, no offense to anybody, but I think of retail investors as victims in so many ways, and they think that they're winning. They're reading charts and they're saying, "Oh, we're down. I'm going to buy now and cash out." But retail is often victimized by whales, and so um, that's generally why I say crypto's going to make it. Ethereum is going to make it. Rather than focusing on day-to-day charts, rather than playing games, your best bet is to invest slowly, steadily, build awareness, and don't focus on those day-to-day movements in price. That, to me, that's equivalent to letting someone else control your thoughts. That is
Mhm.
letting a whale into your mind to say, "I'm going to make you happy or sad today," because they're fiddling with the price. So yeah, now at the same time, I have sell targets. Like I will sell enough to improve my quality of life when a price is achieved, but I don't look at it uh very often at all, maybe twice a week,
Right.
um, just to kind of see, like, how are things going.
And because those targets are set, you're not going to be as reactionary to these, whale behavior or whale maneuvers or anything like that. It's
Yeah.
it's easy to
One of
ignore.
the best quotes in cryptocurrency is, and I think it's Andreas Antonopoulos who said it, is the best way to make $1 million in cryptocurrency is to start with $2 million. And that's kind of a reflection that people who are here to make money, people who are trading, they start with a lot of money, and they're going to lose most of that because of markets and inexperience.
Well, it's unfortunate.
All right, hey, but that do we need to stick around? Maybe I'll end this. I want to get your splash screen. I think that was really cool. I just don't know how to do it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I'll end the recording. It'll take a few minutes to process, and then we'll hop back on, and you can show me how to add that.
Yeah. Sure. No problem. Yeah. Just message me or give me an email and I'll send you the file in full resolution.
I have the file. I just don't know how to insert it in YouTube. I guess I could ask of that extra
Okay.
one. But
YouTube
do
editor.
you know how to add it? Or I could actually try to learn.
You see the video I sent you? It looks like super easy. You just have
Oh,
to. I sent you a video yesterday. It's like
yeah,
2
and that
minutes.
was after I added the solid one. Yeah, I'll look at
Yeah.
the video.
Okay, cool. Let me know.
All right.
We'll,
All right.
all right.
See you, Jason.
Bye.